In this video, we're going to look at the process for graphing quadratic functions in standard form. And a quadratic function in standard form means that it looks like f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So when a function is written in this form, we can't get the vertex quite as easily. So first we're going to talk about how you can find where the vertex is. To find the x-coordinate of the vertex, you do negative b divided by 2a. So you plug in the a in front of x squared, you plug in the b which is in front of x, and then simplify this to find the x-coordinate of the vertex. Then you want to find the y-coordinate of the vertex so that you can plot the point. To find the y-coordinate, you plug the x-coordinate into the function. So finding the vertex is more difficult when a quadratic function is in standard form than it is when it's in vertex form. However, finding the y-intercept is a lot easier. The y-intercept is c. And the reason for that is that the process is the same as when we're finding the y-intercept when it's in vertex form. Plug in 0 for x, but you can see with this function, if I plug in 0 for x, a times 0 squared, that's just going to be 0. B times 0, that's going to be 0, and so this whole thing can always simplify to c. So the y-intercept is c. So we're going to look at example 4. It says to graph the quadratic function f of x equals negative x squared minus 2x plus 1. So again, what I want to do first is identify whether the parabola is going to open up or down. In this case, a is negative 1. So it opens down because it's negative. So I'll start with the vertex. Again, on my math lab, it's going to ask you to plot the vertex first and then plot the second point. So you need that vertex first. So the x-coordinate of the vertex, my b is negative 2 and my a is negative 1. So when I'm plugging into negative b over 2a, negative 2, that's going to change to plus over 2 times negative 1. So this is going to be 2 divided by negative 2, which is negative 1. So that's the x-coordinate of the vertex. To find the y-coordinate, I plug in to f of x. So f of negative 1, remember f of x can also be replaced with y. So f of negative 1, now you have to be very careful here with all these negative signs. It's negative x squared. X is negative 1. These two negatives do not cancel out because exponents comes before multiplying. And so I have to do negative 1 squared first and then put the negative sign on it. Then we have minus 2 times negative 1 plus 1. So this negative 1 squared is positive 1. So this is going to become negative 1. Once I put the negative sign on. Negative 2 times negative 1 is going to be plus 2, and then I have plus 1. So my y-coordinate here, negative 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 2. So my vertex is negative 1 is the x-coordinate, 2 is the y-coordinate. So I'm going to plot that right here. Then I know that it's opening down. And so the last point that I want to get is the y-intercept. Y-intercept is very easy. It's the value of c, which in this case is positive 1. the y-intercept is 1. Mark that on the y-axis. That's right here. And then draw in the parabola shape on that side and make it symmetric on the other side. So that's example 4. What you should do next is checkpoint problem number 4. Do this in your notes, check your answer with the notes that are posted, and then move on to the homework.